Well, I am so excited to finally have you on. I have been a longtime follower and just loved what you've done and how you have taken something that was a struggle and obviously looked at it like straight in the eyes and was just like, I am going to figure out a way out. So why don't we start by just giving me a little bit of your origin story of how motherhood came to be?
Yeah. So my dream, this is going to sound crazy, but my dream was always to be a stay-at-home mom. I worked up until the point where I was pregnant and then I was having my baby and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done. This is life come like dream come true.
You knew.
And, and before that, I had worked with kids that had ADD and ADHD for so many years.
Mhm.
And firsthand, I saw the importance of sensory play in their lives. And then I worked with homeless families for many years after that.
Mhm.
So I saw how valuable simple tools can be, like home staples that everyone has. And I was like, okay. And now that's in my past. And here I come. I have my first child, and she has a texture sensitivity, which I did not expect because you do everything with your first child, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to go to all the mommy and me classes and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And you're like prepared. And I go to her doctor appointment and I'm there crying my eyes out. And I'm like, doctor, she won't eat anything. I don't know what to do. My grandma thinks I'm absolutely crazy. My mom thinks I'm crazy. I've tried everything, more salt, more sweet, like everything. And the doctor was like, Miriam, what are you talking about? Your daughter is perfectly healthy. She's in the 90th percentile of height and weight. Like she doesn't have any issues. And I'm like, okay, I need to do something about this.
Mhm.
So I got home that day and I was like, let me start introducing textures through play. Because all those years of experience before having my own, I saw how important it was.
Mhm.
So I started creating sensory play recipes of all different textures that were edible. Because obviously 1 year olds put everything in their mouth.
Completely.
So I introduced the textures, sticky, wet, smushy, all the different textures through play. And it was like a night and day difference. Within 6 months, she was eating everything. When she
Stop.
went nothing to things like quinoa and salmon and broccoli, like it wasn't taste at all. It was all texture. And that was my
That's
motherhood moment.
That's so amazing. I honestly could have used you as my mom, and I love you, mom. Like you were perfect, and I love you. But I have a texture sensitivity too, and it's something that I'm dealing with currently. It's been something I've dealt with my whole life. Like I've never eaten pasta. I cannot eat pasta, and everyone thinks like, oh, it's a carb or it's a diet thing. I'm like, no. Ever
Texture.
since I first tried pasta when I was a little girl, it was like weird and rubbery and yeasty and slimy, and I like wasn't into it. And so I have like a little bit of that in me, and I can't remember what the nutritionist like technically called it, and I don't ever even want to like label myself anything. But this is just so beautiful because I think that there are so many women out there faced with similar issues with doctors who either, are just so busy and they can't take us seriously, or there really is nothing wrong, or they don't have the patience, or all our kids are just so different. So we have the time to figure it out. Obviously, there's so many different reasons why in the end, it comes down to us who sometimes have to figure it out. But
Yeah.
amazing on you for using your instinct and your education to do this. So what were some of the first recipes that you made that were like big successes?
I actually, with my child, I started very simple. I literally would put like different sorts of textures from like barley and flour and like very things that you can find in any aisle. And I
Uh-huh.
started with that. And then I started creating my own recipes. I grew up in Venezuela
Oh,
and
amazing.
my mom is a chef. So I grew up
Oh,
in the kitchen with her my whole life. So I knew that if I could mix certain textures, we would make Play-Doh as a child. So I was like, let me start making this Play-Doh recipe and make it completely edible. One thing that the internet people don't tell you is that a lot of these taste safe materials like flour are considered raw unless they go through a cooking process.
mm-hmm.
So I made sure with all of my recipes to include every step to make it as safe as possible for all families.
Mm-hmm.
So my Play-Doh recipe is the one that really like took motherhood like off the charts. That
Completely.
one was like, hey, you can make this. And I also created a gluten-free Play-Doh recipe,
Oh, that's
which
amazing.
Play-Doh in general is not gluten-free. So Play-Doh put me on the map. And then it was like slime, but edible slime. So I mixed things like chia seeds with water. And then once that became a slimy texture and really fun play, you can add cornstarch to that and make
Hmm.
it into a really slimy, like actual slime, like the one that we buy at the store. Um, and then I went through everything. I was like, okay, what else can I create? Paint, amazing. All right, let's do all sorts of different paint recipes. Let's do for the window, for the driveway, and then that's how it all happened.
It's so amazing. It's just like this whole world of play for kids and creating this environment for them where they feel like not only safe to play, but like they actually want to play, which is something that I want to talk about because I feel like we want to foster our kids into independent play, but sometimes I think it's hard. There's obviously technology. There's so many different things that maybe sound more fun or are easier for us because they may not require as much for us. In terms of just like setting up an area, what would you say are some tips, some things we should have for toddlers in our homes?
I think the most important part about independent play is step as the adult is to step back a little bit.
Hmm.
If you want to foster independent play in anybody or independence in anybody, you have to let them be for a second.
Hmm.
And I think that's the hardest part about this, right? We're a very hands-on type of helicopter mom society right now. Like our parents, I don't know about your parents, but my parents never set up any sort of like activity. They're just like, oh, you're going to school and here's your toys.
Yeah.
Have fun. Right.
Completely, completely. Like my mom was an art teacher, so I remember certain things her doing and setting up, but for the most part, yeah, I mean, luckily I was one of 5 kids, so it was just like summer camp all the time. But no, we weren't kids of that generation where our parents were like guiding every single minute of the day. And then beyond that had this COVID happen where it
Yeah, oh
was
my
2 to
gosh.
3 years of us really like having to helicopter and guide every single thing that they were doing.
Yes.
So first thing is really like emotionally just allowing yourself the space to give them the space to play.
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
exactly right. But in order to give yourself the space, you need peace of mind.
right.
And that's why I say this is motherhood. It's everything that I share is intended for the well-being for our children, but it starts with the parents. This is
Mhm.
motherhood.
Mhm.
So in order to set up a space that can give you peace of mind, everything in there has to be safe for the child. So let's talk about the toddlers.
Okay.
If they are going from baby to toddler stage, they're still putting absolutely everything in their mouth.
Right.
Another thing that I highly recommend when you start is, let's say it's like an open shelf system, which I love an open shelf system. Like that is my favorite. And most parents are like, absolutely not. Hear me out. Less is more.
Mhm.
So you're not going to fill an open shelf in your like family room with like 1,000 things that you bought at Home Goods. You're going to pick three. You're going to make it look beautiful and
Mhm.
inviting.
Mhm.
And do the same for our kids. You want to make it beautiful, inviting, and so that they can see everything that they have. And
Mhm.
I guarantee if you put less items in there, they're going to play for more time.
I think, yeah. I mean, I did everything wrong, and hopefully, I'll have another chance to do it again. But like, we had this one area that was a open area that he could play in that was super safe, cushy couch around it, play mat, everything. But there was a ton of stuff, and now even in his bedroom, there's just like a ton of stuff, and he has these bins, those
Mhm.
buckets that are not see-through that you just like
Mhm.
shit just is like shoved in there and you never even know what's in there. And for me, this is just such a good reminder to clear that out for his brain because if I go in there, I'm like, oh my God, this is like, yeah, like it's overload. So yes, okay. So really curating the space, simplifying a little bit.
I always give the example, like if we are thinking about going into a department store, if you see a beautiful dress on a mannequin, you're like, okay, that's my dress. That's the dress I'm going to wear to the wedding, and it's going to be perfect. But if that dress was on a rack with 100 other beautiful dresses, chances of you finding that dress for you is slim to none.
So true.
It's always thinking about, like, we want to give our kids everything. We want to give them so much. But by giving them so many things, we're taking away the opportunity for play.
Right.
I'm not saying don't buy your kids any toys.
No, of course, of course. Astral Tequila is the official house tequila of Dear Media. Whether you're keeping it classic or shaking things up, there's no wrong way to enjoy an Astral margarita, especially when every sip supports Astral's mission to build homes in Jalisco, Mexico. Order it at the bar or serve it at home. Feel good about choosing Astral as your new tequila. Astral is an affordable, great-tasting tequila that mixes beautifully into just about any cocktail, especially a margarita. My absolute favorite kind of marg is made with different types of fresh juices, like this blood orange, but honestly, watermelon juice for summer sounds so refreshing. And just add some lime. I don't even know if you need agave, and some Astral Tequila Blanco, and you're set. I know I'll be sipping it all summer long. I'm stocking up this summer and making it my absolute go-to for get-togethers, whether I'm hosting a crowd or keeping it casual with a couple friends. Complex yet smooth with notes of citrus, clover honey, white pepper, and tropical fruit. Astral is made from 100% Blue Weber agave, and you can taste the quality in every sip. Housemarque summer is here. Time to stock up. Go to astraltequila.com and find Astral near you. And don't forget the limes. Please enjoy responsibly. Astral Tequila, 40% alcohol per volume, Diageo, New York, New York. I'm so excited that this podcast is sponsored by The RealReal, the best place to shop authenticated luxury bags, clothing, watches, and so much more. Lately, I've been on a vintage anything kick. To be honest, mostly like Prada and Miu Miu at the moment, but my wallet has limits and I really am in a saving mode. That's why I love browsing The RealReal. It's like a luxury treasure hunt with over 10,000 new items dropping daily. Their daily drops hit at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern time. So set your alarms if you want first dibs. I certainly did. So another thing I love about The RealReal is that I can sell pieces I'm no longer wearing, so I can turn closet cleanouts into credit for new things, which makes shopping feel a lot more sustainable. And speaking of sustainability, The RealReal has already rehomed over 37 million authenticated luxury items. So whether you're hunting for the perfect wedding guest dress, your vacation ready flats, or that dream bag that you've been stalking for years, you can and will find it on The RealReal. The RealReal is the world's largest and most trusted resource for authenticated luxury resale. With thousands of new arrivals daily, no one does resale like The RealReal. And now get $25 off your first purchase when you go to therealreal.com/wit. That's therealreal.com/wit to get your $25 off. Start shopping now at therealreal.com/wit. URL all in lowercase. As a parent, there's nothing more important than giving your kid the best shot at a bright future, and that starts with how they learn. Every child is different, and K-12 powered schools really get that. K-12 powered schools are tuition-free, online, accredited public schools for kindergarten through 12th grade. They're designed to support kids who thrive by learning at their own pace, in their own space, with a curriculum that's engaging and tailored to how they learn best. This isn't homeschooling. K-12 state certified teachers are trained online educators. They use hands-on tech to make learning truly interactive. And there are even social opportunities, extracurriculars, and in-person events so your child doesn't miss out on those important connections. I love that K-12 has over 25 years of experience helping students build the skills they need to thrive, not just in school, but in life. If you've ever wished you had more support in navigating your child's learning path, this could be a complete game changer. Join the more than 3 million families who have been served by K-12 and empower your student to reach their full potential now. Go to k12.com/withwit today to find a tuition-free K-12 powered school near you and enroll now. That's the letter K, the number 12.com/withwit. k12.com/withwit. That's k12.com/withwit. Do you have any sort of tips or rules that you live by in terms of buying new and taking things out? Yeah, tell me.
Okay, as soon as something new comes in, you have to take something out. But that doesn't mean you have to like give it away or throw it away. I love a toy rotation system. Have you heard of that one
No, I
before?
don't think so.
Toy rotation, it was like my solution with my first child. She was the first grandchild on both Mark's and I's side, and we have giant families, giant Latin families. So on the first Hanukkah, everyone gave us like a gazillion toys.
Right. Spoiled beyond.
Spoiled beyond. And first time mom, me, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, I'm so happy.
She has everything.
She has everything. She didn't play with a single thing.
I know.
Nothing. She wasn't even
experience.
interested.
I know.
It was terrible.
It's so frustrating. But you can't blame them. You completely understand. And then like the idea of them all together is just so much that they can't even fathom one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to put away half of them, literally away, under the bed, on top of the storage closet, like completely out of sight. And I'm only going to display half of her toys. Solution. Because a month later or a few weeks later, when she kind of like lost interest in the toys that she had, I put the ones from storage in sight and the ones that were in sight into storage. And that created a rotation. And she felt like I had spent $1 million and bought her all new toys.
Completely. I feel like if we did this throughout the year, if we actually saved things and didn't give them all these things at once, we would have so much newness, not to bribe them with, but to recycle and rotate and utilize so that they can get the most use out of it. This is yes. Okay. So for kids a little bit older, and remind me how old your kids are.
I have a 10, 7, and 3.
Okay, so you have kids that are maybe like interacting with tech already, obviously. Your 10 and your 7-year-old. So when did that start happening where they were wanting, or maybe they haven't, you tell me, maybe wanting to be on the tech more than necessarily playing independently?
So because of how my house is set up, they've not once gravitated more towards technology than they do their play. And I've kind of gotten ahead of it. For example, my 10-year-old for her birthday this year, she asked for a makeup table. And I was like, excuse me? What? But she also asked for like face paint makeup. And I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. So I got her the face paint makeup.
So to me, the makeup table and face paint makeup sounds totally reasonable. Did you think that was crazy?
I thought it was a little crazy because
like too mature?
Yeah, some of her friends are already wearing like makeup to school. And so I thought that was where this was going. And then we were going to have like a bigger conversation. You know what that
completely.
means? Like, come on,
completely.
Protect your skin, girl.
Yeah.
Like, don't put anything on it right now. So okay, we got her the desk, we got her the face makeup, and the first thing she does is she creates this like cut on her face, and it's like this bloody mess.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what is going on here? She loves special effect makeup.
That's amazing.
Amazing. So I fostered this like new creative outlet for her just by listening to her interests.
Completely.
So I'm a huge believer that technology is part of our lives, right? Like it's part of the integration of our children, of our adulthood. Like it's just part of our lives.
Hmm.
My kids have free access to the television whenever they want to go to it, but they don't go to it as often as you'd think because they have other options that they're really interested in.
Hmm.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, but how do I generate those interests?
Hmm.
And it's listening to them and see what they are interested in
Hmm.
and leaning into it. If your child loves technology, maybe it's a 3D printer that you get. Maybe it's something that you can do together as a family, like a
Hmm.
board game that includes technology. It's giving other opportunities that are just as interesting as the technology to them,
Hmm.
that they have access to it. It's not dessert. It's not a bribing tool. It's not anything special. It's just one of their other play tools.
Right. So, what are some of the things that you have in your house right now that are super fun that the kids are engaging with? And, like, also, how often are you rotating these things out? Because for a busy mom, it just
It's hard.
seems impossible to think of a new, a new activity or a new, new moment for sensory play or a new this each day? So, talk to me about how that really looks like in your house.
It definitely does not involve an everyday situation. It's more, I have three kids of very different interests and very
Hmm.
different ages.
Hmm.
So we have a playroom and then they have their own items that they love in their room as well.
Hmm.
So it's creating these hot spots within the house that really tailor to each person's interests. And I talk a lot about that in Playful by Design because it's not like I can give you a formula, hey, you do this, this, and this, and you're going to get some magical output. I give you questions to ask yourself and to
Hmm.
really appreciate the space and items that you already have.
Hmm.
I'm not going to send you to the store, buy some special things, but I do give you specific parameters. For example, I love an open-ended material.
Hmm.
So magnetic blocks,
Love.
sensory play, art supplies, dress up, all of these different categories that I give you in Playful by Design. I'm not going to have you like make it up in your head. um, to help you instill these things within your house. So in our playroom, we have play stations.
Hmm.
So think about it like hotspots as well. We have a designated like cooking area, a designated dress up area, designated art area, and then an open shelf with all of the different like open-ended materials that I was talking about,
Hmm.
puzzles, blocks, sensory bottles, all of those like fun things that you could find in there.
Hmm.
So it's not an everyday thing. It's when I realized one, too many things have entered the space, birthday parties, birthdays for themselves, the holidays, whatever, just you can have it perfect. And then stuff
Just comes in.
just comes in.
You
It
don't
just comes.
even know how.
Yes, you literally don't even know how. You look at it and like, where did this come from? Oh no, my friend Elizabeth, she gave it to me at school. Like there's so many.
So much shit that piles up. I know. So
Yes.
how often are you like reorganizing or organizing and cleaning up?
When I've lost control. That's
Okay.
when I'm doing it. So
Okay.
the cool thing about this system that I implemented is that every item has a home, and I'm not the gatekeeper of those items.
Okay.
So my kids are not coming to me being like, "Can I have the paint? Can I have the scissors? Can I have the blocks? Can I have this?" Mom, mom, mom. I've ended that completely. They know how to get to everything. Even my 3-year-old, she
Hmm.
knows how to find exactly what she wants, get to it independently, play with it independently, and put it back independently.
Hmm.
So I'm not cleaning up after my kids either.
Interesting. So they, at the end of the day, are cleaning up after themselves.
It's not just the end of the day. It's
No,
when they're
wherever they're.
Yes, it's when they're done with that particular item. So if they're done playing with the magnetic tiles, they're going to put those away before they move on to the art table.
Got it. And do you have specific tasks for them in terms of throughout the day, like any cleaning the room, making their bed, all those little things?
No,
Nothing.
I
They
have
just do it.
no,
No
they,
rules.
no rules, no rules. We live in this house together. We respect all the things together. And that's all taken time and boundaries as well.
Completely.
So it's not like, hey, if you don't clean this up, I'm throwing away all your toys. No, these is our toys. We respect them and create those boundaries around it. And I think it's a system. It's not something that you just snap your fingers and it just
No,
happens.
I've completely learned that. It's not one of those things where it's just like clean your room and then they're going to magically do it. Like it's something over time that they either watch you do, they see how you keep your things, your belongings, how, and then they start to emulate. Like Sonny will go in his room and it's getting a little messy and now he'll be like, "Can we tidy up a little bit before we go to bed?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." Like would love to
Yeah.
help you do that. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a great bonding opportunity too. Sometimes
Mhm.
my kids are not into it. They're done playing with the magnetic tiles. They just want to move on to something else. At the end of the day or at the end of the moment, I'd be like, okay, let's turn on some music. And all of us within 5 minutes, we're going to get this space back to how it started. So just turn on that music, connect together and move on.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be such a, if I give them this, then this is going to happen, you know?
It just cements the idea that if you just make things fun and playful, usually kids will follow along for the ride.
Love
It
to clean. I
that
say that all the time,
all
right?
us also, but I just feel like kids, like if you make things fun or if you're positive about something, that kids usually they want to do what you want to do if you have a good attitude about it. So I think
100%.
that's like the moral of the story. Like you got your kid to eat because you had a good attitude and played with her and made it fun, as opposed to just like trying to shove things in her face or get tested or all these different things. Like you
Yeah.
just made things fun. And I think it can be as easy as that. But sometimes we're like so overwhelmed that we don't realize it. So, getting back to that, like, what are some things in our houses right now for like, whether it's, I don't know who's listening. It's probably kids, toddlers, our age kids, 7, 10. Like, what are some easy things in our house that we can utilize to create fun spaces and environments for them right now?
So I think the first step is identifying the spaces where you spend the most time.
Okay.
When I moved into this house, I was like, oh my God, finally a playroom. All the toys are going to live there. It's going to be so fabulous. First thing my daughter did was go to the playroom and take the toys from the playroom to the living room.
Oh,
And I was like, what?
so interesting.
Why? Why did you do that? And it's because they're human. They want to spend time with us.
Hmm.
So then that's when the place hot spots happen. So
Hmm.
identify where you spend a lot of time
Okay.
and create an inviting space for them. And I'm not saying like all of a sudden this has to be like a kid's play couch. No, still decorated how you want to decorate it, but in the little corner that's there, let's put a little shelf or let's put a little something something for
Like a
them there.
little table and chair. I
Like,
put like a little desk for Sunny in the corner of our living room and he loved
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So that would be my first step here.
Hmm.
It's in make the spaces where you are mostly at inviting for them.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfectly for kids, but just inviting for them.
Hmm.
Step two, do not overclutter the space. So we're not using things like deep bins or those big baskets with lids, none of that. Because what's going to happen is we're going to overstuff it. And the only thing kids are going to do is go to it, dump it out, and walk away
Completely.
because they will not see anything.
Mm-mm. And it just becomes a bin for all random missing pieces to things.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So arch nemesis, deep bins and baskets.
Done.
Exactly. So two, don't overstuff it. Three, put things of their interest. And
Hmm.
that's really important too.
Right.
Sometimes we're like, okay, I'm going to put these three toys, but you don't realize that your child has either outgrown it or is no longer interested in that.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
it's really being in tune with the 3 to 4 things that they're actually interested in and putting it there and making it totally accessible to them,
Hmm.
meaning they never have to go to you to say, can I get this? Can I get that? Can I play there? Can I do this? Can you help me with that? Nothing.
Hmm.
So that while you do your thing in your space, they're doing their thing in that space as well.
Completely. I think that's so important. I did something similar to that as well with like the snack drawer. And it was because I sent Sunny to a Montessori school and they taught me this and sweetest school ever, but made him a special snack drawer that he had access to that he could freely go to and get what he wanted when he wanted. So he didn't feel like he had to ask me and there was no like control issue or anything like that. And it's so nice, even now still, to see him walk over over to the drawer and take something himself. Like it just feels so satisfying to watch
Yeah.
them nourish themselves in that way. So
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have something like that for your kids? I'm sure.
We do, we
Yeah.
do. I think the more independence, even throughout, apart from play,
Mm-hmm.
you give a child, the more self-esteem and confidence they will build within themselves.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the first step to all of this is really kind of like taking yourself out of the equation,
Mm-hmm.
which is the hardest part for most families.
It's so
Like,
true.
"Oh, but I've already done all the things and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm sitting and I'm doing, but the equation here is you.
Right.
You take yourself out
Right. Right.
and let them be.
Right. Because they can also feel that energy too.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. And they'll also feel like you trust them to do those things. You
Mm-hmm.
trust them to make the right choice in the snack drawer. You trust them to pick the right toys that are fun for them and to also put them back.
Mm-hmm.
And that, again, trust, self-esteem, confidence, that is a huge, huge benefit to them that we can give them at a really, really young age and as they grow as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So I know you've all heard of Venmo, but did you know that Venmo can be used for more than just helping you pay your friends back? Please, let's discuss the Venmo debit card. The new Venmo debit card lets you spend your Venmo balance in any which way. If you can shop for it, you can pay for it. With the Venmo debit card, I can Venmo these jeans I'm wearing, the soda I'm sipping on, the podcast equipment I'm talking into, the subscription service I'm going to watch Love Island on later tonight. The Venmo credit card unlocks all new ways to use Venmo, and it's wildly convenient. Got paid back for drinks? Use your balance to pay for your lunch tomorrow. Here's the main selling point for me. The card actually Venmos you back, similar to a credit card, but not actually a credit card. So when you pay with your Venmo debit card, you could earn up to 15% cash back at some of your favorite places. And this card really stands out. It's super cute, it's colorful, and you get to choose your own color to match it to your style. We love a personal touch. Venmo everything with the Venmo debit card. Visit venmo.me/debit to learn more and sign up today. Venmo purchase restrictions apply. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A., pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Card may be used everywhere MasterCard is accepted. Visit venmo.me/debit to learn more and sign up today. So we tried a new food thing in the Port Rosamond house, and it's one I actually feel really good about and one that Sunny actually really liked. It's called Maui Nui venison, and I wanted to try it out because it's actually known to be the healthiest red meat on the planet, and I'm a huge red meat girl. So what makes it so special? For starters, it's 100% wild harvested, stress-free, and sustainably sourced. These animals live completely wild, no pens, no baiting, and Maui Nui's mission is actually helping restore balance to Maui's ecosystem by managing the overpopulation of invasive axis deer. It's meat that's truly good for you and good for the planet. Sunny's really been liking the peppered venison sticks. They have 10 grams of protein, are sugar-free, and only 55 calories, up to 53% more protein per calorie than grass-fed beef, and just such a great snack for Sunny. We even tried using their ground venison to make some meatballs for a dinner the other night, and the meat was lean, it was flavorful, and I know it's packed with essential nutrients and healthy fats. It's perfect for anyone looking to elevate their meals with delicious, high-quality protein. Maui Nui is offering with Whit listeners a limited collection of my favorite cuts and products, but because everything is wild harvested, supplies are genuinely limited, so don't wait. Head to mauinuivenison.com/wit to check it out. That's MAUINUI venison.com/wit. Talk to me about like the first DIY sensory activity that you ever shared.
Okay. Well, it was Play-Doh, but apart from Play-Doh, I love creating things out of recycled materials, like obsessed. And for a long time, there's all of these sorts of like different kids activity accounts, and they create these like really elaborate things out of cardboard that I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
Never.
Oh, never. So, but there was this one activity where it was like you trace the hand and then they get to paint their nails and like do the makeup on the face. And I was like, I love this, but no way I'm putting all of this effort for one time. So I was like, okay, I'm going to create this board, hands on it, trace their hands, create fingernails, and then a face with eyes and all that for makeup and nails. But I put clear tape over it. So they got to paint it, wipe it off, and paint it again.
Again, genius.
I felt like a genius. I felt like a genius. And that went so well with everybody.
That's amazing.
Anything that you can find at Motherhood is things you already have and that you can use multiple times. I'm not going to have you making some activity for a one-time situation here. Our time is more precious than that.
Completely. So like that's what I love about, I went onto your site earlier before this, and like obviously you can go on and you can get like the recipes and all that stuff, but you can also get the kits for these kinds of activities and whatnot. And then there's also the snack box, which I'm obsessed with. You're making motherhood so much simpler. And I feel like for me, it's so hard. Like I was saying earlier, when you're really, really in it, it's really hard to be creative. So it is just so wonderful to have access to someone like you who has created these things. What would be in your dream sensory play starter kit?
Oh my goodness, I love this question. Okay, sensory play starter kit would be things that you can find in your pantry.
Okay.
So very simple things. Flour, cornstarch, baking soda. Those, if you have those three things and like water and food coloring, you can make so many different sensory textures.
Oh my God, amazing.
If you have, again, very simple, the simpler you make it, the better it is. When I had my first child, I was like, okay, stay at home mom, we're going to play. I went on all of the like kids activity websites. Oh my God, like 15 to 20 different craft materials that I had to go buy at Michael's, then bring them back. And I did it one time and then I was like, what the heck do I do with the rest of the 200 pieces of craft? Like, what are those called? Popsicle sticks.
Those sticks, I know. And the feathers and the glitter and the all that stuff. I know.
That's for school. Those things are for the fun school because there's another 20 students there to do it together.
Completely.
Do not buy them at home.
Completely.
Flour, cornstarch, baking soda.
And motherhood.com. And I'm sure there's a million recipes for what you can do with those things.
Exactly.
What do you do about the mess situation? Because I feel like so many parents, I'm like, have fun, do what you will. Like I got in trouble recently, actually, because by my husband and my sister-in-law, because I let the kids go crazy with slime in the kitchen because I don't care. I'm like, I want them to have fun. I know it can all be cleaned out. Like I know it's going to be annoying, but I know it can be cleaned. And like, I know I'm probably going to be the one to do it, but then they get home and they're like, "What did you let them do?" And they freaked out. And I was like, "You guys, you know it's going to be fine." And in the end, they were totally cool. But like, I feel like you probably don't care. I feel like a mess is supposed to be made, don't you think?
Yeah, I am just like you.
Yeah.
I care. But my husband, on the other hand, is, I would say, clean freak.
Okay.
So he cares very much about messes. And when he was working full time, it was fabulous because I didn't have to worry about it. But now he works with me at home.
Oh.
So now he sees the mess. So set yourself up for success is my best advice. If you are doing something like play sand or anything that's loose, you're going to put it straight on the ground. But first, you're going to put a big sheet down.
Okay.
A bin in the middle.
Okay.
And then play tools inside. And you're going to create a boundary. And you're going to tell your child, hey, this is within the sheet. It stays within the sheet. And they'll be like, okay, thanks, mom. It stays within the sheet. Sometimes it stays a little bit out of the sheet, but it's okay. It's okay. So setting yourself up for success is the most important part. I also love activities that we can do in the bath or in the shower. Those are both really easy to clean spaces that all houses have. Not all houses have outdoor spaces, but if you do have an outdoor space and it's a beautiful day, take it outside. so you can just hose it down. So it's kind of like thinking about how this is going to impact the cleaning. And
Completely.
the cleanup is part of the child's responsibility as well. The other day, my 3-year-old was like painting on the windows. The windows were already very dirty on the outside, so it was okay. So she was like doing handprints and like smudging with paint or whatever. And then at the end, she was like, "Can I have a sponge and some water?"
Mm-hmm.
And she cleaned it up all
Mm-hmm.
by herself. So
Amazing.
it's part of the activity.
Right.
And then also knowing like slime, if you do get it on clothing or a couch or a rug, white vinegar takes it out like this.
Okay, amazing. Good to know.
So the simple things like that, that again, I go through in Playful by Design or on motherhood.com or
Yes.
you can find all of these hacks. I literally test out everything. I took a Sharpie to my walls and I was like, okay, what is the best way to remove Sharpie from furniture and walls? And I tested alcohol, hand sanitizer, hairspray, all the things that the internet said. And at the end, the best one was spray sport sunscreen. So
What?
yeah, it's insane.
To get
Insane.
permanent marker off of white walls, sports
Off.
sunscreen?
Sport sunscreen, spray sport sunscreen.
Oh,
The coolest, all of them took it off, but most of them also took off the paint color. In
okay.
this case, it didn't remove the paint color, but it did remove the stain.
Oh my God, you need to bottle that and call it something different
I
instead of
know.
like Mr. What's that white sponge thing called?
Oh,
The
Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean. Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes,
I mean, not
yes,
that you need a
yes.
new product idea at all, but amazing.
But yes, after so many tries. So again, you have me as your friend. I will test it out.
Right, completely. So, how do you feel? You have all this stuff going on. You're obviously running a business now, and I do want to talk to you about you said, you always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and you wanted that to be your focus. Obviously, you turned motherhood probably not like on purpose, but you turned motherhood into a career. Now, how does it feel? Is this really what I mean, I know you want to be doing it, but like obviously I'm sure you think about the days where you thought you only just wanted to be a mom. Like how are you handling that right now?
So a few months into stay-at-home mom, I literally turned to my husband and I was like, I don't think I can do just this
Yeah, I don't see that for you.
at all. I saw my mom work my
Mhm.
entire childhood. She
Mhm.
still works. Like my husband's mom works, like my grandmother worked. Like everybody did something else that was
Mhm.
for themselves. So it was kind of like divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. It was kind of like a mix of the stars where it was like, I really need to do something else. And this situation is happening. And
Completely.
so I didn't intend to make any money out of it at all. I started sharing it on social media, my play recipes, because I was like, if this helped me, I'm sure it can help somebody else. And surely enough, all of the content just started, going places. I did not know how to edit a video or photos or literally anything. So everything was self-taught.
Mhm.
And the fact that I didn't have the pressure to make any money out of it, I think is what made it and still makes it really successful.
Mhm.
My husband
Mhm.
was a full-time investment banker. He did really well. I again wanted to just be a stay-at-home mom, so I didn't have this in my career path. And every opportunity that came my way for the first, like, I would say 2 years, 3 years, I said no. I said no to the brands that wanted to sponsor and collaborate with. And I and I think it's because I said no to those brands that honestly didn't align with me at all, or
Completely.
things that would use. I was like, I don't need that. But it was when Nickelodeon came knocking, I was like, hello, I do want
Yeah,
to work with you.
completely. I think it's so important to be strategic like that. And I think
Very
sometimes
important.
as women that we can say those kinds of things and be looked at as like
Yeah,
snobby or whatever it is, but I think that we are just being strong business people who know our worth and
100%.
know who the right partner is and will be ready when they come to us, but do
100%.
not need to bend over backwards to like Yeah, I'm totally with you. So what was it with Nickelodeon that you did with them?
So they asked me to create several pieces of content, some for their website and some for socials,
Okay,
and
fun.
incorporating like some of their characters, like the Bubble Guppies
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
SpongeBob and things like that within some of my activities.
Okay,
So what I
cute.
loved about them was that they gave me total creative freedom. So this was my like big intro into what this could be. And this was, I
Completely.
believe it was like 2020. It was like right around COVID era.
That's
So we were all home. We all needed things to do, and we all needed to do things with things we already had at home. So it
completely.
really gave not only the start to the career, but it also gave my community really useful and fun activities to do. So it was
hmm
both.
hmm And now how do you like align your days with having your kids and your work and it feels to me like you truly do know what's important, and obviously being a mom is like your number one priority. Like how do you shape your days with this in mind?
So in 2021, I turned to my husband and I was like, babe, you gotta leave your career or I have to hire somebody else to help me really develop everything because I wasn't willing to give up
Mhm.
my time with my kids.
Mhm.
And it was starting to happen where it was like I had too many things on my plate and it was
Mhm.
taking the joy out of what I already loved with that I was doing. So he said, okay. And I was like, what about our health insurance? That's the first
He's
thing
like,
that
"We'll
crossed.
figure it out."
And then I was like, okay, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be
It's
fine.
scary
And
though.
it's so scary.
So
It's so
scary.
scary. And so he left and we split pretty much all of our responsibilities. He does everything that's like brand building, and I do everything that's like content for
Makes sense.
motherhood. And that allowed me the time that I need with my kids. So my kids go to school now. So while they're in school, I'm working. And when they
Mhm.
come from school, I got my mom hat on.
You're done. Yeah. And how has it been working with your husband?
If I say, we always say, if we write another book, it's going to be about working with my husband.
Yeah.
It's like to work with a spouse. It's honestly amazing.
Yeah,
I have
good.
to say, there, you know how our jobs are. It's very personally connected to our
Very.
lives
Mhm.
and very intertwined. So
Mhm.
to have somebody else understand the ins and outs of it the way that we do, it's very, very, very difficult. Uh,
Completely.
so working together is amazing.
Yeah, I think about that for Timmy all the time. I mean, we film so much stuff together, so we work together in that way. But when it comes to like management or brand building or day to day, I could not do that with him on a daily basis. But I think that's okay. Like you just have to know your limitations and your boundaries, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is totally true. There's been many times where I'm just like, this is my decision and this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And he's done it many times where he's like, this is my decision and this is what we're doing. And I'm just like, okay,
Okay.
yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, he's doing an amazing job. So are you. Is there anything that you swore that you'd never do as a mom, but now you do?
um, I would say bribe my.
Yes. You have to, right? Shit,
Do you
man.
have? Do you know how hard it is to get a nice photo out of your kids? Like it is impossible. Like in it, if you're paying for that photographer and you're doing family photos, you best bet I'm gonna get a smile.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm gonna do whatever I need to do. So there are lollipops, there's a trip to Target, whatever you want.
Uh-huh.
But I have a middle child, which, oh my God, my middle child.
Tell me.
She does not take a bribe for
Interesting.
nothing. One time, we were doing this like it was during COVID, and we were invited to Telemundo, which is like a TV station
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
to do a segment. And I was talking about travel activities, and they wanted to have the girls on. But in order to get into the segment, they had to COVID test all of us. Okay.
Okay.
My middle child refused, but it refused to put the little stick in the nose, which I totally understand. Like I
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
get it.
I
It's
didn't I
very
did not want to do that either.
It's very uncomfortable. I said, you want a chocolate fountain? Do you want a Elsa light up dress? Like whatever you want. This was like 4 years ago. She was 3 to 4 years old. Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You can convince a 3-year-old to do anything.
Anything.
Not this 3-year-old. She said
Wow.
no to everything. Thank God they only swabbed her mouth. And I was like, you could have told me this.
Seriously.
Oh,
You're like, I never wanted to do this. I never even wanted to have to bribe her in the first place.
oh my God. So yeah,
Oh,
bribery is the one thing I said I'd never do. And here I have a child who will not take a bribe. So
that's so interesting. What is the biggest message that you want parents to take away from your work?
to listen to their instincts, that is your most valuable possession, your
Mm-hmm.
instincts, to know that you're doing more than enough and well, more than enough and stop listening to the noise.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really, really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
And appreciate the things that not only that we do, but that we have already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that those are three really important things. As you can tell, I'm a glass half full type of person. I always look at it from the positive side. My life has not always been very easy,
Mm-hmm.
but having that positive outlook and quick solutions to things
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really be beneficial. But your instincts will take you everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Advocate for your children if you think that there's something wrong or there's something that they deserve or whatever it is. You're not being annoying. You're
Mm-hmm.
sticking up for your kids. And
Mm-hmm.
that's my number one tip.
One,
Yes.
I feel like everyone's starting to get ready for travel. Do you have
Yes.
any just quick travel tips, easy things to throw in your purse? What do you got for us?
Yes. Number one thing for travel is to be prepared. And well, I guess that's two things, prepared and organized.
Okay.
Very important things. We are not showing up to the airport with no snacks or activities, guys. Okay. And even if you're like, I've loaded the tablet, I'm set, kids get very easily overstimulated.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Mm-hmm.
you have a flight delay or anything that's going to make it a long term, you need more things. The
Okay.
tablet is not just going to cut it. I have a whole like Amazon list of travel things that you
Okay.
can
Amazing.
from, but things that are lightweight and you can get multiple uses out of it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I love this water painting, and it's like a pen where you put the water inside the pen, and it's watercolors
Oh,
with
I
the
love those things. Sunny loved those things. Or
love.
those drawing pads that have like the neon colors that you can draw with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Amazon also, it's, yeah, such a great resource for that. And I was looking at your
yes,
Amazon shop and you do have really great things on there. But your
yes.
snack box is really good for travel too.
Yes, the coolest thing about the snack box is it's that everything is already open and available, and it's
Mm-hmm.
all about that independence for the child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I have three children that I often travel with, like a lot. So I don't have a single time where they're like, Mom, can I have a snack? Mom, can you open this? Mom, can you do that? They have their backpacks all filled with things that they can get to independently.
Mm-hmm.
So in their snack box is 8 different little compartments where it has 8 different little snacks. They can take out their snack box whenever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's already open and available. They can eat it whenever they want.
Okay, let's talk about Playful by Design. Tell me about it in your words.
Playful by
It's
design.
so cute.
My fourth baby. Thank you. In my words, it is a guide for making independent play a reality for both kids and parents.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I mentioned earlier, it's not a ABCD process where one size fits all. It's very uniquely tailored to meet you where you are at your parenting journey.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't for newborns, this isn't for 5-year-olds, this isn't for 18-year-olds. It's for all ages wherever you are.
Oh, that's
And it
amazing.
helps you be more intentional
Mm-hmm.
with the items you have and the space and times that you have.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make you rethink your home and really get the most out of it. It's not going to make you feel like you don't have enough or you don't have the tools or you don't have the space. It's really going to make you appreciate what you do have. And I think that that's very unique in a design type of book.
Definitely. I think it's very, very refreshing. I think that this whole mindset, and I'm seeing it in fashion as well, like wearing what you have, using what you have, shopping what you have. And I think that that's a mentality that we need to think about in terms of everything, utilizing what we have and what we've worked hard for, that we live in this world where we're constantly being told what we need and how cool newness is. And we don't want our kids to become slaves to that. So
Agreed.
I love that about what you're doing. It's achievable.
Exactly. One thing that I did in Playful by Design, you can kind of see it a little bit in the cover,
Yeah,
is I put a lot of illustrations within the book as well,
I love
because
that.
I wanted you, it's very hard to see yourself in a very, like an architectural digest. It's very hard to see that and be like, okay, I can do that.
Mhm.
Most
Mhm.
people will need to buy those exact things in order to make it a reality. But if you see a shelf drawing with some bins with a little lamp or with a whatever, you'd be like, okay, I have a lamp, I have a shelf, I have a bin, and I have the little plant. Let me put it all together and really
Completely.
make it your own.
Completely.
So illustrations, I think, is what also puts apart Playful by Design from any sort of parenting or design book as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not like intimidating.
Exactly. I wanted to mention the toy storage glossary
Talk to
within
me about it. Yeah.
the book. At the end of the book, I give parents and caregivers ideas for how to store different types of toys. So every time I share, like, hey, this is a really cool storage for cars, I'll be like, what about dolls? Or what about the blocks? Or what about this? So I literally go through every type of play item, dolls, balls, cars, dress up, and I give you 4 to 6 different ways to store those items so that you can find the best one for the amount of things that you have as well.
That is incredible
I
because
walk you through it all.
it's true because you're right. Everything should have a home, but the amount of categories of kids things that there are is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
So that is amazing. That is so, so helpful. I love that. That must have taken you forever.
Forever. So
Forever.
it's organized in parts. So you're going
Okay.
to, for example, part one. A big part of part one is seeing what you have and decluttering.
Mhm.
So clutter is not just about physical space, it's also about mental capacity as well.
Mhm.
So if you see something and it looks really messy, you can't physically find it, but your mind is very, very, very overwhelmed.
Mhm.
So I guide you through the easiest way to do that.
Okay.
And then there's part two, and then there's part three, and then there is the rooms, like individual rooms, the playroom, the outdoor space, the on the go, the bedrooms, the nooks, the mini, like all the different parts that could be a part of your home.
Okay.
I think one of the things that people were really afraid about this book was that it would be just for people with playrooms, and it's not that case at all. There's only one specific area about that, and even within that area, I talked to you about all the different ages, what it's like to have kids of multiple ages.
Mhm.
So there really is all sorts of things. It's not a book that you have to sit as a busy parent and read at once to really get the most use out of it. You can read the first part, implement the first part, go on to the second part, implement that, so on and so forth.
Right, step by
Very,
step.
very digestible. Yeah.
That's amazing. Um, what is the biggest mess that the book inspired in your house?
Hmm. I think it's probably at the end of each chapter, I included a sensory play recipe. And making those recipes, obviously, I'm mother could, so I did not set myself up for success because I love mess.
Yeah.
So one of the recipes, it's not that it was that messy to clean up, but one of the recipes is um, shower paint. And
Fun.
that is shaving cream, body soap, like body gel,
Uh-huh.
food coloring. And I put those into like muffin tins. So you have all the colors of the rainbow, kind of
Uh-huh.
like a palette. And then my girls went into the shower and they painted the white walls.
That is so fun.
It was so
I mean,
fun,
it
and it was
sounds like
so
such a
fun.
mess, but it can't be. Like you're
No, you
doing
just hose
it.
it down. You just
Yeah.
hose it down when they're done. And the
It's
kids had the best time when we were shooting all the content, the photos and like activities for this book. That was a highlight of my kids' life.
That's so
They did
fun.
everything within 2 days.
Completely.
They loved it.
Ugh. What would you say is like the biggest takeaway that you want parents to take from this book?
I want them to live a more playful life.
Hmm.
I want people to see kids and childhood as fun and really know that it's not about spending all day, all this money, all this time. You just need to invest 10 to 15 minutes of connecting, truly connecting with your
Hmm.
child.
Hmm.
No screens, nothing else, doing something you're both interested in
Hmm.
and appreciate that time together and then give them their independence. So it's all about connection, independence, and playfulness.
Hmm.
And that's what I want them to get out of this book.
It's very freeing. Also, I like what you said about it's not just something that they're interested in, but it's something that you're interested in too. And
Yes.
I think that that's very meaningful
Yes.
because a lot of time play with kids can be very mind numbing.
Agree. I
Yeah.
think it's finding your parenting superpower,
Yeah.
your playful parenting superpower.
Hmm.
Dress up. You will not catch me dead
Not your
being
thing.
the doctor, right? That is not me ever.
I'll do
But
that.
exactly. But I love to cook. So I love to create sensory play recipes.
Hmm. Hmm.
So instead of waiting for my child to be like, do you want to play doctor? No, I'm going to be like, hey, do you want to make Play-Doh? Yay, let's make Play-Doh together. So we
Completely.
connect 5 to 10 to 15 minutes in the kitchen making this Play-Doh. And then she goes off and
Does
plays.
our own thing. Amazing. All right. So tell everybody where they can find you and all of your products and your beautiful book.
Yes. Mothercould.com. You can find everything. You can find me on all social platforms at Mothercould and playfulbydesignbook.com. You can order Playful by Design nationally and internationally as well.
Amazing. So thank you so much. I'm so happy that you came on. Everybody go check out Mother Could, her new book, Playful by Design. We love you, Miriam. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.